our app isn't really secure. I'm signed in as the Rocket Ship podcast. And if you go to view the podcast, I am podcast with ID of 1. So if I go to a new episode, I should obviously be able to access this page. But if I go to podcast/2 episodes new, I shouldn't be able to create a new podcast. But you can see that I still have access. So what we need to do is tweak some stuff. Let's close out of all this. Tweak some stuff in the episodes controller. First off, we're going to use a before filter or before action from devise before_action, and it's going to be authenticate _podcast exclamation point. So what this will do is, so I'm going to copy this link, localhost/podcast1 episode/new, and I'm going to create an incognito window and paste that in. So what this does is it forwards you, if you're not signed in, if you try to go to the episode new page and you're not authorized, because the authenticate user, if you're not authenticated, it will force you to go to the login page, which we still need to style, by the way. But still, that doesn't fix the issue. But if we, let's see, if we go to the episodes, we should be able to still see the episode, regardless of if you're signed in. So what we need to do is go to the authenticate podcast and accept and add the show method. So now if I hit enter, we should be able to see that podcast. Perfect. Okay, so let's close out of this. That still doesn't fix the issue to where user 1 can still access user 2's form. So what we are going to do is we're going to write a little method down at the bottom. I'm going to call this def require permission and end. So first let's find the podcast. So we'll do @podcast equals podcast.find params of podcast ID. And then I'm going to say if current podcast does not equal, so exclamation point equal @podcast redirect _to the root path and send a notice, say, sorry, you're not allowed to view that page. End. And then up at the top, below the before action, let's do a before filter, require permission. Save that. Now if I refresh, I should get redirected back to the root path and say, sorry, you're not allowed to view that page. Awesome. So that means as a user, I'm not going to be able to access another user's dashboard, and I'm not going to be able to manually change the ID and create a new episode under their podcast. So I'm going to let's go do a git s, git add dot. Now let's do a git commit -am, and we're going to say added authorization to podcasts. All right, now let's do a git push and a git push Heroku master. All right, so now that we have added authentication to our app, the next thing I want to do is set up paperclip for image uploading because all of these broken image links is kind of driving me crazy.